Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Across this country, and perhaps nowhere more so than in my state of California, there is an extraordinary movement of parents who are asserting their right to control the education of their children, who are reforming corrupt and failing school systems, and who are putting student learning back at the center of American education. This bill is about putting power back in the hands of parents. And there is no more powerful instrument for parents to have a say in their child's education than determining where it is that they go to school. School choice. It's proven to be the single most powerful instrument for advancing educational excellence. When you look at the results in states that embrace school choice, such as Florida, which ranks at the top when it comes to student achievement, versus schools that do whatever they can to constrain school choice, like my own state of California, which even prior to COVID-19 was second to last in the country when it came to education outcomes for children in low-income communities. And then, of course, in one of the most harmful policy decisions in our country's history, California had the single longest school shutdown of any state in the country, which has exacerbated these achievement gaps in ways that we are only now really beginning to understand. And so what I am proposing today is a modest amendment that could prove to be very powerful in advancing the options that parents have for where they send their kids to school. Because different districts and different states across the country allow a higher degree of choice, but if parents are not aware of what choices they have, then they're not able to exercise that choice. And so what I'm proposing is that parents have a right, wherever it is that they live, to see exactly what public school options are available to them. And so that would mean, number one, what schools can they send their child to within the district whose boundaries they live within. Different districts, again, have different policies, but generally you'll be assigned a neighborhood school, but then there's an option to choose a different school. Some school districts have open enrollment. Others will give you an ability to do an intra-district transfer if you follow a given process. So we want to make that transparent to every parent. And then you also have the option in some states and some districts of doing inter-district transfers. So if there's a neighboring school district, for example, that accepts transfer students, if there's a process you have to follow, parents should have the right to know of that option as well. And then thirdly is charter schools, which are tuition-free. They're public schools, but the parents generally have to opt in, but they aren't able to do so if they aren't aware of the option. And indeed, you do have certain districts where there's sort of an effort to intentionally discourage public awareness of what those options are. It's important to note that this is of most help to low-income families, parents who are working multiple jobs who might not have the same ability to learn how to navigate the system that other families do. But if they have a clear presentation of here are the schools within your district where your child can enroll, here are the schools in neighboring districts where your child can enroll, here are the charter schools where your child can enroll, then they will have a much more meaningful measure of school choice. And the effects of this are positive in several ways. First of all, it gives the parent that ability to choose the option that is right for their child. It might be that there are different options of schools, and one might not necessarily be better than another, but one is just a better fit for their child because of different classes that are offered, because of a different focus of the school, because of different extracurricular activities, and so forth. But perhaps the biggest benefit is this will promote a sense of competition, both within districts and between school districts. Even in my state of California, there is a limited school choice option called the Districts of Choice program, which for some districts allows students to transfer from a neighboring district. And there was a study done by the nonpartisan legislative analysts that showed that, number one, there were better educational outcomes for students who transferred under that program, but number two, that the districts they were transferring away from actually responded by improving the type of education that they offered, by having new course offerings and by having more professional development and improving their educational product across the board. So, Madam Chair, I would simply ask that this amendment be adopted. I think that it will go a long way towards supporting the broader purpose of this legislation. Thank you, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Is there further debate